Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we have a video here that was sent to me by a woman named Alana Arbucci, titled "Sex Before Marriage Was the Worst Thing I Did to My Mental Health. Here is why." So we're going to take a listen to this one. Don't forget to leave your own thoughts and comments down below, and let's just jump right into the video.
So it's been a while since I've actually filmed a video. The past few videos I've posted have been ones that were recorded a while ago. A few of you have noticed that I've deleted a lot of videos from my channel. There's a lot that I want to talk about besides the topic of this video, and I'm really excited to tell you guys all the things that have changed in my life recently. Some of them I want to keep to myself and reveal as time goes on. Let's talk about the topic of this video. So, I was in a relationship for 6 years. We broke up in June, and I've been living a single life in this house by myself. I have 3 dogs now. I personally have the mindset of dating for marriage. I do have friends who I've had conversations with about their experience in dating, and I've talked about my experience in dating with them. And after Christmas, before New Year's, my friends and I were talking about how sex makes dating so much harder. Because you meet a guy and you're thinking, if we've had a few weeks of talking, phone calls, we establish we both want a relationship, we both want marriage one day, we both want kids one day, we've had all the conversations. If we sleep with them, are they going to think we're easy? Are they going to immediately assume she's probably done this with other guys? Are we thinking that they've done this with other girls? If we wait too long, are they going to think that we don't like them? Are they going to think this girl's not going to have sex with me, I'm going to go have sex with someone else? And, you know, in the moment, you're liking this person and logic goes out the window when sex is on the table. A lot of times we will do that even if we don't want to out of fear. All my friends were talking about how being intimate with somebody can be such a distraction. We've been in situations where we knew we wanted to date a guy. They expressed interest in dating us, becoming exclusive, whatever. And we were intimate with them. And then as time goes on, you start to realize maybe they were saying things they didn't mean. The way that they treated you in the beginning is not how they treat you after you were intimate. Being intimate with somebody is the most vulnerable you can be with another human being, emotionally and physically, all at the same time.
Okay, so let me just pause it here because this woman has said quite a lot. So my first point here is that women have really screwed themselves over these days, okay? Women are allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do these days. You know, you have pretty much all of the rights and freedoms of a man, if not more. So you can go out there and you can go hook up with random dudes all day if you want to. Nobody is stopping you from doing that. Now, the funny part about this is that women have actually screwed themselves over, right? Because there used to be a time when you would have intimacy after marriage, you would have kids behind wedlock. But nowadays, women are giving it up left, right, and center. So there's that. A lot of guys don't have the incentive to get into relationships with these women anyway. Which brings me on to the point of the marriage, okay? Marriage is a gigantic risk for men that, let's be honest, a lot of modern women have completely weaponized against men. They have 100% used marriage to its fullest capability as an assault against men. And so if you're trying to, as a woman, be a traditional woman these days, you're actually going to struggle quite a lot. You can thank the womanists for that one. Congratulations on the liberation. You have liberated yourself from men. So there is also that. Let's just continue with the video, though.
And creates this false sense of closeness. After being intimate, we slowly started to realize this is not somebody that I want to date, but because we were intimate, because we have that false sense of closeness now, and we have such a high because of all the hormones and feelings that go along with that act, now we're ignoring red flags. It is not uncommon.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop this woman for a second here before we continue into the next part. Women like to do this crap a lot, right? They like to say, oh, you know, I didn't know the red flags were there, or I ignored them and I hooked up with him anyway. I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry for these women. They voluntarily do this, right? They try and pitch you the argument like, oh, I was scared, so I hooked up with him. And their argument is like, well, I was concerned that he was going to leave me if I didn't give him intimacy. Okay, let him leave then. I'm so confused about this, man. If a man leaves you because you won't have intimacy with him, and your goal is to date for marriage and have intimacy after marriage, you have just successfully implemented a filter. That is what you are supposed to do by your own definition, right? By your own standard of what you want. It's crazy to me, guys. This is like saying, for example, I want to sell a car and I don't want to sell this car. Maybe it's like a really, you know, it's a sports car, okay? I want to sell this sports car for $300,000. I will not accept anything lower than, I don't know, $225,000. Somebody comes to you with $175,000 and offers you that. And you accept the 175 and then complain. You see what I'm saying here, guys? Is like, you don't have to hook up with a guy. Nobody is forcing you to do this. If you feel scared that he's going to leave you, hey, if he leaves you, fantastic. You just weeded that guy out of what you are looking for. Again, this stuff confuses the hell out of me, man. I mean, not really, but like, it's just crazy to me, guys, how like the women are always the victims in this situation. Nobody is forcing you to do this. Let's keep going here.
Common to feel a false sense of attachment to someone after you have sex with them because oxytocin is released during sex. Some oxytocin is released when you are doing things that are not having sex, like when you hug somebody, when you're in a romantic relationship that you're not having sex in. But when you are having sex, you're having a way higher amount of oxytocin released. And there is research that shows that when you have a high level of oxytocin released, it leads you to make decisions that you would not make if that hormone was not coursing through your veins. You're gonna be artificially attached to the person and you're gonna be blinded by reality because of those hormones. It's an addictive hormone. When oxytocin is released into the brain, it can impact emotional, cognitive, and social behaviors. Your brain is not functioning the way it normally would, rationally. You're going to make decisions and do things that you wouldn't normally do. I think we all know that friend who like keeps going back to the same guy who is not good for her, and I'm sure we've done it ourselves, like, and you can't explain it. You're like, I know logically he's not good for me, but I'm going to text him anyway.
Yeah, so the reason why women do this is because they're highly attracted to the guy. Okay, and again, I don't feel sorry for women who do this. You're an adult, you make your own decisions. Like, I don't feel sorry for these women who go out and do this. And I want you guys to really pay attention to the wording that she uses there, which is that she says, you know, we've all done this. Lots of women do this, and chances are you have too. We've all done it. And this is what I'm saying on this channel, guys, is like, you have these women who have such high demands of men, okay? You have to take me out on dinner dates, you have to do this, you have to marry me, you have to, you know, they've got like this whole list of crap that you have to do for them, which is fine. You know, go out there, have your standards in dating. But here's the problem. If you have a list like that, what men are going to do is say to themselves, hey, wait a minute, that previous guy that hooked up with you, he didn't have to take you out on a dinner date. He didn't have to marry you. He didn't have to do any of this. You showed up to his house at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday because he texted you. In fact, you texted him. So again, guys, trying to make the argument for men to chase modern women, kind of a losing battle here, to be honest with you. Kind of a losing one.
We feel like they're already our boyfriend because we're sleeping together. But then also in the back of your mind,
They're
you know,
not.
he's not your boyfriend, and you're thinking, is he doing this with other people? When is it crazy for me to ask if he's talking to other people?
Wait. I thought you had already established that you both were looking for a relationship. Again, guys, this is the nonsense that women like to feed you, okay? The fact of the matter is, you did not have a relationship with this man, and you hooked up with him because you wanted to manipulate him with your body into a relationship. Guys, please do not fall for this crap, okay? These women do not have relationships with these men. They go and hook up with them, and then they complain when the men don't want relationships with them. I mean, it's crazy.
When can I ask? And it's a normal amount of time. This might sound crazy to some of you, but these are conversations I've had with all of the women in my life that have dated at some point or are dating now.
Wow, what a shocker.
It's something we're always thinking about. Speaking from my own experience, there's one person I'm thinking of specifically.
Of course there is.
In these months of dating, that we both wanted a relationship. That's what we said. And
I mean, clearly he didn't. Again, guys, women like to pretend like this is just, they were manipulated and the guy said he wanted a relationship, but then he turned out he didn't. Secure the relationship first, at the very least. You know, just because a guy says he wants a relationship doesn't mean it's with you and doesn't mean that you have one. It's crazy, guys. Like, women like to really get kind of vague about the wording here. But again, they don't have a relationship with these men. They hook up with them. And then they're like, wow, I was manipulated. He told me he wanted a relationship. Yeah, get the relationship first. But they don't. They don't do this.
And we were intimate. After that happened, we spent a few days together.
Check this out. In those few days, I picked up on subtle red flags that I knew were pointing to a very toxic mindset. I love how women label this stuff, right? Very toxic mindset. What this means is basically this dude's probably a player and he doesn't want a relationship with you. He was just lying. Now, I'm not saying that lying was right, guys, but let's use our common sense here. I mean, dudes lie for this crap all of the time. Like, you know, use your head, maybe. Very toxic mindset, i.e. the man didn't want to commit to me. Very funny language.
Because we were intimate throughout the week, I totally forgot about those things. All the red flags. And I can't even imagine where I would be if he didn't do the horrible things that he did to make me walk away. I would still be in that situation with the totally wrong person for me because I was blinded by sex.
Yeah, so you would, translation here, bad boy, you hook up with a bad boy without a relationship, you got played, everybody knew you were going to get played, you blame it on the oxytocin, despite the fact that you're an adult capable of making your own decisions. And then she goes on to say, hey, listen, if he didn't treat me quite as badly, I would have stuck around for a long time without a relationship. And guys, I'm telling you, women do this stuff all of the time. They will chase a dude for like months upon months, sometimes even years without a relationship, just because they really want that one particular guy. And you know what? They will still think of that guy in between all of the relationships they get in with other men in the meantime. When this woman right here, goes out and, I don't know, maybe gets married in a few years or something to some other dude, she's still going to be thinking about this guy. And that is the problem. You have a man who was required to marry you, but you're attached to this guy now, right? You are going to chase this man for months upon months without any commitment. Okay, what does this say? I could somehow justify things he said and believed, even though they were extremely unhealthy and misogynistic. They're misogyny boys. Misogyny. So the player, I love how women always label dudes like this. It's like, if you don't want to commit to them, or if you have particular views about relationships, they just call you like buzzwords, man. But I couldn't explain away the violence? The violence. I couldn't explain away the violence. It's horrible to think that I was able to disregard such obvious red flags before he did something impossible to ignore, all because of a physical connection. Okay, so now we're making claims that the guy was physical, which obviously, guys, incredibly cringe. Never do that to somebody. Don't do it to a woman. Don't do it to a man. I'm not condoning physical nonsense here, right? Do I believe that this happened? I mean, unless you have proof, not really. Women come out with accusations all of the time. I'm not one of these believe all women people. Give me evidence and then maybe we'll talk. But yeah, right? So she chased this guy, misogyny, player. Apparently he did awful things, allegedly. Ergo, we get this video. Let's keep going here. So she's got her message. I'm just going to skip forward.
That is terrifying. I cannot even imagine how many people, even in long-term relationships, are staying and they don't even realize that they're staying because the makeup sex is great. Sex in general is great. If you have sex with someone that you're dating and you go a week without seeing each other, it's kind of implied, now that you've already had sex, that the next time you see each other, you're going to have sex. When you're not having sex with somebody and you both agree to that, now you know that that's not on the table. You can stay up all night talking. Every single thing that they do for you, you know that they're doing it for you because they genuinely care about you. They want to continue to get to know you and they see a future with you. People can be in relationships as adults for years and years and years and years. If you both want to get married and you're of an age where marriage is appropriate and you're financially able to get married or you already live together, what are we waiting for?
Yeah, I mean, here's my answer to that question. I refuse to marry. Absolutely refuse to marry. What are we waiting for, guys? You know, just sign that legal contract between her, yourself, and let's not forget, famously, the government. No, thank you. Not interested. Again, guys, women have kind of they've really scammed themselves here. Okay, quite a few years now of using the court system, ruining men's lives, taking their kids, taking their resources. I mean, yeah, why don't we just get married? You know, we're both going for the same goal. I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. Probably a lot of guys who are watching this as well. We don't want to get married. At least I don't want to get married. Screw that. I have seen what has happened to dudes. I have seen men lose their families. I have seen men lose absolutely everything. I'm not interested in this. I think a lot of men, you're going to have a hard time selling this once again.
I can't help but think that they were too blinded by attraction and a sex life, and they're not really sure if this is the person for them. We're so confused because our culture is trying to tell us that we should be able to have sex and not care afterwards. We should have sex because we want to have sex for our own pleasure. My friend FaceTimed me leaving this guy's apartment, and she's like, I texted him to come over last night, and when I got to his apartment, I asked him to come down because it was a dangerous area and I didn't feel comfortable and it was really late at night and I wanted him to like come downstairs to like walk me up to his apartment, and he wouldn't do it.
So hookup women who are literally relegating themselves to be hookups for men, are frustrated because men are not giving them safety and provisioning. I mean, again, why would they, guys? You know, this woman makes a really good point here about the attitude of society currently. I agree. This is exactly what women are encouraged to do. And like, I'm not here to tell women otherwise. I mean, they're not going to listen to me anyway. But they are absolutely encouraged to go out there, hook up with a whole bunch of guys, do it because it's fun. I mean, and so on and so forth. It completely fries their pair bonding ability. And it just ruins every subsequent relationship. Again, guys, I've made this point very many times on the channel, but if you just do the maths here, I mean, even numbers as low as 7, and I say low because that's low for a lot of modern women. If you've been with 7 dudes, like, you try and marry number 8, and I mean, your track record tells us that there's going to be a number 9, there's going to be a number 10, there's going to be a number 11. If I was a betting man, I would bet that those numbers would continue to rise. But it's funny to me how the women who, again, opt to become hookups for men, this is not something they are forced to do as much as they try and tell you it is. They rock up to this dude's house, right, in this example, and they expect him to do like safe, like protection and provisioning. Mind you, again, guys, this woman is going to a dangerous area. The woman in this story, it's probably her, to be honest. But women will absolutely, like, this is what I'm saying on this channel, guys. This woman will rock up to an area that's unsafe to hook up with a guy with no inclination of a relationship whatsoever, and yet we are expected to marry them and buy them dinner. I mean, I'm sorry, but you lost me, man. You have lost me.
So she went up to his apartment. They hooked up, and then she's calling
And she goes anyway. She goes anyway, man. This is why I don't feel sympathy for these people. She goes anyway.
me the next day, listing a few different points throughout the night that made her feel like he didn't care about her, like he
Of
didn't
course he
value
doesn't.
her,
Of course
just
he doesn't.
using her. And
You're
I
using each
said,
other.
You want him to see you as an object. You don't want him to see you as a friend, as a girlfriend, as a wife. You want him to see you for your body. You are seeing him for his body. Those are the boundaries that you guys have established. We're taught nowadays that sex doesn't mean anything. So why does it hurt so bad when somebody uses us for sex?
Just by the way, again, I hate how women do this crap, man. Oh, I was used. No, you voluntarily showed up. Like, can we just... No accountability whatsoever. I was used for my body. Nobody is forcing you to be there, man. Like, nobody is forcing you to be there.
That sex doesn't mean anything. So why does it hurt so bad when somebody uses us for sex?
And just by the way, you were lied to, right? So, I was told by society I can do this and there's no repercussions. Why does it feel so differently? Yeah, because you were lied to. All of those women on TikTok, they're lying to you. All of those dating coaches on TikTok, they're lying to you. Modern day womanism, lie. Modern day media, lie. I mean, there's your answer. You've been lied to. Now, do I feel sympathy for you? No, because you still, again, you decide to do this. You're an adult. But yeah, they were all lies, all of it. Absolutely.
My friend went into the night thinking, I'm doing this for me. I want to feel good. But then you're upset. My friend called me another time. She slept with this guy on the first date because they had both been saying that they want a relationship. They stayed up all night talking. They both have had really hard lives with their parents and specifically their dads, and they bonded over that. And they had sex. And then the next day, she didn't hear from him all day. She texted him at like 9 o'clock. This is a Saturday. They hung out on a Friday. Didn't answer her for like a whole week.
So let's read this. She was very, very hurt. She was having racing thoughts, questioning herself physically and emotionally. She was not happy with her choice to hook up with him. And then she even felt stupid for being upset about the situation. Oh, man. Too funny, too funny.
And then she finally was like, what is your problem? And he responded saying, I'm sorry. I should have told you I wasn't attracted to you. You knew. You spent the whole night with her, and he had sex with her anyway, knowing that he wasn't going to contact her after that. And she said the sex was great. She got what she wanted out of it physically. She gave herself to him in that way, and then he rejected her. It would have hurt still if they didn't have sex and he didn't call her after the date, but it would have hurt a lot less. If you go on a date with somebody and you have dinner and then you don't hear from them, it's like, all right. If you have sex with somebody and they don't text you ever again and they told you that they were into you and that they wanted a relationship and that's what they were looking for and they deaded you, I know so many girls. It's crazy.
Yeah, she knows so many girls, and the reason why is because they all do it. You would think that they would learn, but no, they just keep doing this crap over and over again. It's like, how am I going to feel sympathy for you if this is something you do? I'm not buying this whole victimhood card here, by the way. Again, you want to fix this, get the relationship, get the marriage up front. You can thank womanism for making that a lot more difficult. You have been liberated. You are liberated to the streets. You may have your fun, madam. I'm not here to tell you not to have your fun. I'm not here to try and give these women morals, guys. That is a task that is for someone far more patient than myself. Typically, it's supposed to be their fathers, but hey, those people likely got screwed out of the family as well. So here we are in these particular situations. That was another point I was going to make, but I had forgotten it. So let's keep going.
It's crazy. My friend and I were talking about this, and she's a Christian, and she
is a Christian, does it anyway.
Was talking about how maybe there's a reason why God says we're not supposed to have sex before we're married. Just hearing them talk about all of this trauma that's going on because they have sex with these people that they're dating, and then to experience certain things myself, we're causing pain and trauma on both sides. Men are feeling it, women are feeling it. This is a huge, huge problem.
You know what this reminds me of? This is the point I was going to make earlier. I've remembered it now. You know what the flip side of this is? This is like dudes going out here, buying women dinner, you know, having relationships even with them. I mean, getting them things, so on and so forth. Being the nice man, paying her bills, looking after her, protecting and providing for her, and oh, you get no intimacy whatsoever. I mean, how many guys have been through this, okay? You as a man, for example, are told the lie, hey, you need to, in order for a woman to like you, you need to convince her to like you. You need to do all of the nice things. You need to do the dinner. You need to do the flowers. You need to do the romance. You need to, I mean, whatever, okay? You go and do all these things, and let's be real about it. Most women will just use you for that these days. You know, they absolutely will, right? And I hold men to the same standard that I hold women to, which is, hey, realize when you're being used and don't engage in it. You know, I'm not wanting to be out here giving these women dinners. I don't know, like, where the hell has this woman been? Who the hell knows? All the previous men that have been with her haven't been required to buy her dinner. So you know, my suggestion to both men and women is the same thing. Abstain from these sorts of things. Okay? Like, dudes are going out here, giving money to women, looking after them, providing and protecting for them, and they get nothing in return. So don't do it. Women are going out here and they're giving their bodies to dudes and they're not getting relationships, which is the equivalent for them, essentially. Okay, so don't do it. Now, I'm going to clown on people who continue to do this. If you're a dude and you're out here and you're giving women, for example, money, and like you just get nothing in return, like, why are you giving women money in the first place, man? You know, you're a clown. Like, why are you out here doing this to yourself? Because make no mistake, you are doing it to yourself. And I would say the same thing about women. Women who go out here and do this crap, they are inflicting this situation upon themselves. Nobody is making them do this. I would honestly clown both sides of this, but it reminds me a lot of the men's side as well. You go out there, you provide for it, you care for a woman, you get treated like trash. So men stop doing it. And you know what? I completely understand why men stop doing it.
I know that you guys have had crushes on people before you've had sex with them. You know when you like someone, when you're attracted to them. You can tell from making out with somebody that you have a connection, you're attracted to them. You can always have conversations about what kind of sex life you want to have. All of the things I'm observing are pointing me to believe that even in a long-term relationship where you're having sex with someone who you know loves you, it could still be a huge distraction. I think it's so important to get to know somebody and fall in love with them and marry them when sex is off the table.
Okay, that sounds all well and good, but what have you done? I mean, here's the problem that I have with videos like this, guys, is women, you know, they have these epiphanies. But again, you look at their actions and they're still doing the same crap. Right? So it's like you're out here saying, well, you know, this is the path to go down, but then they go down like a completely different path. You know, and it's like, wow, why aren't men marrying me? Why aren't men taking me seriously? Where did all of the relationships go? It's like you can't put this forward. It's like trying to, again, going back to the car analogy, it's like, I'm going to sell this $300,000 car, but now it has a giant dent in it, but I'm still selling it the same way. It's like, okay, that's nice, but your actions are completely different to what you're trying to present here. Like, women do this stuff all the time, guys. They try and sell dudes purity. And again, these men who get married to you, by the way, just think about this for a second. This man is also going to receive less intimacy. I mean, this is just such a losing deal for the guy. So he has to marry you, no intimacy whatsoever up until that point, and then even during the marriage, you're going to space out the intimacy because you want to get him to know you better, and also so that you guys can have like a greater focus on things that aren't intimate. I mean, this just sounds like a bad deal for the dude. It really does. Not only does he have to risk everything in marriage, but then he also doesn't get intimacy with you At least not anywhere near often at the end of it. It's ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous. Again, same woman who will go out here and hook up with random dudes trying to sell men this. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your own thoughts and comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves out there, and I will be seeing you all in the next episode, guys. Peace.